If you're watching this video, you're probably trying to figure out how to get ahead as a leader. You know you need to do more strategic thinking, develop your team, and build better stakeholder relationships. And maybe that's going to be enough to get you that promotion. But you're so busy, you wonder how you'll ever find the time. In this video, I'm going to share with you a simple 4-step framework, which I call the Leader's Ladder, that helps managers become brilliant leaders. If this is already resonating with you, I have a tool that can help you. I've created a free leadership assessment that shows you exactly where you are on your leadership journey and where to focus first. If you comment ladder, I'll send it to you, or you can grab it in the description right below. My name is Helen Bryant, and as a leadership coach, I've seen this situation again and again. To be honest, I felt exactly the same way in my first leadership role. I was at PepsiCo, I was leading a business development team of 64 people. It was my big break. I was moving from being a successful individual contributor into what I would regard as proper leadership. And I was so chuffed to get this role. But within weeks, I was running around with my hair on fire, trying to learn everything about fan sales operations, about business development strategies, and the needs of a diverse team. And it just wasn't working. I was feeling really out of control. Luckily, pretty early on, I had a mentor who sat me down and said something that really changed my perspective. He said, Helen, your role has changed. You need to create time in your diary, not just to be in the work, but to lead it. And that conversation helped me realize I was trying to do everything. I was influencing stakeholders and thinking strategically, trying to coach and develop my team, but without clarity on what I was actually doing. This role over time became a joy. It was also for me like a leadership fast track where I learned so much that I've honestly taken forward in my career, both in my corporate career and as a coach. When I started coaching, I was brought right back to that early conversation because now I see the challenge faced everywhere. Managers with great ideas, but no time to actually put them into practice. I realized over time in coaching managers there was actually a natural order that if you did certain things first, it became much easier to develop other leadership skills. And this is when I came up with the idea of the Leader's Ladder to help managers accelerate their leadership skill, their influence, and their impact. This framework, the Leader's Ladder, has 4 rungs, but they work in 2 parts. The first 2 are mindset and systems, or your ways of working. And the first 2 are about getting yourself sorted. And then rungs 3 and 4 are about influence and coaching. They're about brilliant communication and connecting with other people. Now, most managers jump straight to trying to influence their boss or coach their team without first being clear on what they're trying to achieve. You can't effectively lead others until you've learned to lead yourself. Once you do, everything else becomes easier and, I promise, calmer. So let me walk you through each rung of the ladder, starting with mindset. So this is all about getting clear on who you are as a leader. There's an enormous change when you become a manager. You're no longer successful for what you personally get done. You're successful by what your team achieves. Now, this sounds really obvious, but when I think back to my PepsiCo days, I was trying to know everything about van sales and graduate development and every business strategy under the sun. And my mentor helped me realize that that wasn't my job anymore. My job was to create space where my team could excel at those things. And I did the bit that only I could do as the leader of the team. So what does that actually mean to you? Well, I think there's 3 things. First, getting clear on what kind of leader you want to be. This isn't about copying anyone else, although you can be inspired by them, but it's working out your own style, what's important to you. Second, it's knowing your boundaries, what you will do and what you won't do, so that you protect your time and energy for the things that actually matter. And third is accepting that leadership is learned by doing. It's not a title. A good starting point is to write down 3 adjectives all about what you would like to be known as a leader, and then think about how they would show up and come alive in your day to day. These kind of act like a North Star. When you're clear on your vision and your values for yourself, it's like a lens through which you view everything else. When you're clear about that, you stop second guessing yourself. You know who you are and you know what you're there to contribute. Once your mindset changes, you have to change how you actually work. The biggest challenge I see is trying to keep everything in your head. You're jumping between thinking about your team, your stakeholders, your deadlines, and it's all just swirling around up there instead of being organized in a way that actually helps you. So this is about developing simple systems or ways of working that make sense for you. And I think there are 2 types of system you need to have in your ways of working. The first is a planning system, and this involves giving it time to have a clear view of your goals. You want to know how your work actually gets done and where each of your people in your team are right now. Second, you need an aligning system. And this is where your one-to-ones become the moments when you actually connect with your team. And your team meetings become brilliant collaboration time because they're so clear and so focused and always moving work on. And you have a way to stay connected with your stakeholders instead of just reacting when they email you. The key is having rhythms and routines that make sure that this gets done, plus simple ways to track all this stuff so you're not trying to remember everything. When you track where each team member is in their development and their progress against the goals, and when you're meeting with them regularly, you remember what you talked about last time. You can follow up on things. You can move work forward. This completely changed how I worked. I stopped feeling like everything was urgent because I had clarity on what was important. My head didn't hurt from trying to remember everything, and I felt so much more in control because I knew I was focused on the right things. And honestly, it saved me time because I wasn't constantly trying to work out what I should be doing next. And this is why addressing the first 2 rungs of mindset and systems matters so much. When you're clear on who you are as a leader and you have simple ways of working that can bring that to life, you show up to conversations prepared. You understand what's actually going on. Now, the challenge with this is often just not talked about. People don't normally talk overtly about their mindset as a leader or how they manage their time as a leader. However, when you get them right, it becomes easier to focus on the skills that do get you noticed, the skills that will make you promotable, influence and coaching. Both of these skills are grounded in excellent communication skills, the ability to connect with anyone, framing and shaping conversations, helping people solve problems and make decisions faster. This is the stuff that the best leaders consistently show. Influence isn't about being the smartest person in the room. It's about understanding what's going on in that room. And when you know who your stakeholders are and what they're trying to achieve, you can have conversations that actually matter to them instead of hoping your ideas land. Coaching isn't about having all the answers. It's about asking the right questions, guiding, unblocking, and supporting your team to be problem solvers, to learn, to be self-sufficient and empowered. Trust makes all of this work, and trust comes from being consistent, showing up in the same way, remembering what people told you, following through on what you said you'd do. The simple ways of working make that consistency possible, even when everything else gets a bit chaotic. When you put all this together, when you're clear about yourself and your team, when you're aligned through consistent conversations, you create something quite amazing. A team that knows where they're going and trust each other to get there. I think of it like murmurations of starlings that you see sometimes, thousands of birds moving together with no single bird obviously in charge, but everyone knows where they're going. And that's the kind of team you're creating. The clarity, the alignment and trust you create allows that to happen. This approach completely step changed my success as a leader. My team delivered better results. I had stronger relationships with my stakeholders, and my reputation in the organization grew because people knew they could count on me. And the best part, I felt so much calmer because I wasn't consistently firefighting. If this sounds like some of the challenges you're facing as a manager, I have created a Leaders Ladder assessment specifically to help you work out exactly what you need to focus on first, because trying to develop everything at once just leaves you stuck in that reactive cycle. It only takes 5 minutes. It shows you exactly which of the 4 areas of mindset, systems, influence and coaching that you need to focus on first, and gives you a personalized action plan. So if you comment ladder below, I'll send it to you, or click on the description and you can get it. You can't effectively lead others until you've learned to lead yourself. But once you do, everything else becomes not just more effective, but I think so much easier to do and fulfilling. Get these basics right and you'll be amazed what your team can achieve. And if you're thinking, Helen, I just don't know where I'll find the time for any of this, I suggest that you watch this next video where I share a time management strategy to reclaim your precious time in the week for leadership. I'll see you there.